Hi, all. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Addison Welsh, and I am the Internship and Experiential Learning Manager here at WGU. We are so excited to have you join. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Otis today, who is going to share a little bit more about Forage and the ways that you can gain experience and skills through their platform. With that, I'll hand it over to you, Otis. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the introduction, Addison. Good morning again, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name's Otis, and I'm here to talk a little bit more about Forage. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and if you all can let me know if you guys can see my screen, okay? Okay, perfect. Okay, so before diving in to the actual demonstration, today we're going to be giving an overview into what Forage is, how to navigate a simulation as a student, and the different areas of our platform that you can engage with. So a little background on Forge. We're an ed tech company. We create virtual day in the life job simulations to essentially help bridge the gap between the classroom and the workplace. These simulations are completely open access as long as you have a device, whether it's a phone, laptop, iPod, desktop, whatever it may be that can connect to the internet. You're more than able to come on and start navigating some of these simulations. They're 100% free. At no point in time will we be asking anybody for any money that's on this call. It's 100% free for educators, learners, universities throughout the entire globe. And that's meant to really create a safe space for exploration. These programs are paid for by our employer partners, and they have a few different reasons for doing this. One is to distill down the technical and professional skills that they're looking for in some of these roles so that when entry level or new talent apply for some of these companies, they have a better understanding of what's expected or what they're actually getting themselves into. Another is to start building a relationship and engaging with the next generation of talent. And my favorite one is to demystify their brand. So we may be familiar with JP Morgan, Lululemon, Red Bull, Walmart, just had to go there last night. But we typically understand these companies and these brands as consumers and not necessarily understand how they operate behind closed doors and on a day-to-day basis within some of these specific roles. So companies partner with us to try to bring awareness, increase visibility to their company, to their brand, and to engage with the next generation to give them a better sense into what their company is all about. Today, we're going to be diving into the Explore tab and the Dashboard, which are the two tabs that you have access to as a student. On the Explore tab, this is going to include our entire course catalog. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And then on the dashboard, that's what we use to actually engage with any simulations that we're in progress of completing or engage with any achievements that we've unlocked upon completing any particular simulation. Whenever you sign up for a simulation and you complete that simulation, you always receive a completion certificate. However, some simulations have additional unlockable achievements that students can earn upon finishing those particular simulations, and I will show you all what that looks like in a second. So if we scroll down to the course catalog right here, we currently have over 22 different career fields ranging from accounting with the Big Four, banking with JP Morgan, client services with Fidelity, consulting with BCG, data with Tata, design, education, engineering, entrepreneurship, healthcare, human resources, law, life sciences, project management, sales, and one that I love to spend a little bit of time just touching on, that interview and career skill section. Definitely understand that students are at different parts of their academic and professional journey. Some of you may be just sticking your feet in the proverbial water, trying to explore some of these career paths, while others may be a little bit more comfortable or adept at navigating through some of these settings. Wherever you are, these are always available to you as well, in addition to some of the things that you're already probably doing with your career services on campus, because it's always going to be important to understand how to build your personal brand. Managing self-doubt and imposter syndrome if you're considering to explore a new career path. And one that I like to speak a little bit about, Addison and I was just talking about my navigation from college to career. I initially was in San Jose State, attended there as a kinesiology major. Quickly found out that human anatomy and physiology are not that interesting to me personally. Transition to sociology, definitely had a large background in just community building and networking, and navigated that, graduated, went into nonprofit work. Make a long story a little bit longer, found out, okay, that's a little bit taxing, and transitioned into ed tech. So kinesiology, sociology, ed tech, you guys can all imagine these don't necessarily have anything relatable or anything in common. However, there's a lot of transferable skills like Excel skills that are prominent in some of these roles that myself and other students often aren't aware of until we actually start exploring some of these potential career paths. So for today, we're going to be jumping into, we were talking about this one a little bit earlier, the Lululemon simulation. And whenever you find a simulation that you're interested in, you can always click that specific tile. It will take you within the simulation homepage where you can get more information about this particular simulation. On the left-hand side, it outlines all the tasks within the simulation and the estimated time for task completion. Just want to point out right here really quickly, this is completely self-paced. So forgive me for calling on people just because I see your name. Haley, if you take 30 minutes to complete task one, hats off to you. Addison, if you take 30 days to complete task one, hats off to you as well. There's no negative or positive consequence for taking more or less time. This is to give the student an idea of how long it takes somebody at Lululemon on their omni-channel marketing team to complete these specific tasks or to complete this specific simulation. If we scroll down a little bit more, on the right-hand side, we're going to get more insight into the skills we'll be learning, refining, and developing as we navigate this particular simulation. We're going to lay out how this works. So for every simulation, you're going to be completing tasks guided by pre-recorded videos. These videos are always going to be recorded by employees from that particular company. So in this case, if we scroll down, this would be a video by somebody from Lululemon's team introducing the task, getting you guys prepped to navigate this virtual job simulation. As a student, that can sound all great and I can be excited, but still, question is, what am I actually doing? What's task one about? What's task two about? If you scroll down a little bit more to the bottom of the page, we outline all the tasks on the left and then give you a description of the task, more insight to what you will learn in that specific task, and then insight into what you will be doing, the activity you will be completing in that specific task as well. So you can check out all of the tasks in the simulation, see if that's something that aligns with your interests, and if so, we can scroll to the top of the page. If this is my first time coming here, it will prompt me to start the free job simulation. Upon clicking start free job simulation, it will ask me between 1 and 7 questions. The questions are going to be, how familiar are you with this simulation, with this company? How confident are you about the work you will be doing with this company? How likely in this moment are you to apply to this particular company? How familiar are you with the work this company does? And the one constant question, whether there's one or more than one, is do you consent to share your information with this company so they can contact you about opportunities? I'm gonna pause right there really quick. By no stretch of the imagination are you guys required to consent to share your information. Your experience on the platform would not change. If you mark no to that question, you will still receive the same certificate. If there's any additional unlockable achievements that you can earn from that simulation, you will receive those as well. However, if you finish task one, you initially don't consent and you're going into the second or third task, and now you're curious to see, okay, what may next steps look like with Lululemon? You can always toggle this on or off. So if this is off, I remain anonymous on the platform. Nobody knows that I'm completing these simulations. However, if this is toggled on, once I complete that simulation, receive my completion certificate, Lululemon now knows that they can contact me about application dates, networking events, internship opportunities, and other relevant job information. One big thing to point out here as well is that these companies aren't using this as an assessment tool. So they're not using this, and forgive me again for just calling out names, to say, Adrian, you did really great on task one, but Alex did a little bit better on task 2 and 3. So we're only interested in continuing to have conversations with him as opposed to yourself. They're not able to see the work that either of you or any of you are submitting on a task by task or simulation to simulation basis. And that's because they're using this not again for assessment, but to identify high intent candidates. They understand how busy you all are. They understand how you are managing school, work, family, personal, social life, whatever it may be, and the fact that you're taking time out of your day to learn more about their particular company and how they actually operate within these roles really stands out to them. So they're using this to identify high intent, and it's really meant on our end to create a safe space for you guys. So if there's any potential career paths you may be interested in exploring, you don't have to worry about negative critique or harsh assessment. This is really a safe space to explore and try out some of these skills or develop more skills that you probably already have. So for this task one of this simulation, Step one, we're going to get that same overview, what we're learning, what we're doing, and now we're going to get a welcome video from somebody from Lululemon's team introducing this specific task. Those welcome videos are going to be very short, between 1 and 2 minutes, just getting you guys prep for the virtual job simulation and prep for this virtual scenario. Step two, now that you met your virtual manager, what's the who, what, when, where, why? How does this apply back to this company? Am I working with a product? Am I working with a client? All that information is going to be answered in step two, which is going to be giving you more information about the background of this particular simulation. So for the first paragraph, it lets us know what's the product we're working with. We're going to be working with the Mirror product, which if I'm not familiar, it's no worries. It lets me know this is an at-home fitness product. It was launched in November 2020. It gives me some descriptions and insight into what the product features are. It lets me know, hey, this is a marketing simulation. So our main goals are to emphasize the product's benefits. However, we don't just see ourselves as an ordinary company. So we also want to take this opportunity to raise awareness around some of the more important values we support, such as diversity and inclusion. I know when I was in school, I would see that and I would say, that's great. What does diversity and inclusion have to do with selling a at-home fitness product? Lululemon feels that they're always seeking to advocate for a wide variety of critical and social problems through their marketing initiatives specifically. So they're hoping that this will follow that same natural progression. So now that I have my background information, I can go on to the next step, which is getting the specific task that I'm going to be completing for this task one of the simulation. For this task, we're going to be working on an integrated marketing plan. It lets us know that we want to make sure that that plan is innovative and powerful enough to advertise some of the company's offerings. But again, they're really, really big on DE&I. So they want to make sure that we're also offering captivating and relevant storytelling to emphasize some of those diversity and inclusion goals. Gives additional direction to let you know you can use Microsoft Office to complete this. If you don't have access to that resource, totally fine. You can also use the free one provided by Google. Also gives added direction into some questions that your creative brief that you're going to be creating for task one of this simulation should answer, but also lets you know you don't have to trap yourself within the questions that we give you. We challenge you to think outside the box, and if there's anything that you feel fits within the scope of this assignment, definitely add that in there. And if I'm somebody that's very, very familiar with marketing, that's no problem at all. I can jump on this. I'll be able to complete task one, go on to the next task. That's great. If I'm somebody that this may be a little bit new, or somebody that I'm still just getting a little bit more comfortable navigating this marketing space, we always include external resources to help you navigate the simulation if you get stuck. So for instance, maybe it's familiarizing yourself with Lululemon's website or some information about the specific product that we're making this integrated marketing plan for. Maybe you know everything there is to know about Lululemon and the Mirror product. You have one at home, but you haven't begun to really think through what's their diversity and inclusion strategy or some past initiatives that they have. Maybe you're familiar with that as well, but we need to get a little bit more comfortable developing marketing campaigns, creating briefs, or making those briefs compelling, or just familiarizing ourselves with some key terms that we're going to continue to come in contact with throughout this simulation. And if we decide to continue with this particular field past the simulation as well. When you're ready, you're able to submit your work right here. And after uploading your submission, you actually unlock an example answer. And just like the videos that you've seen, this is going to be completed by somebody from Lululemon's team. So now you can compare your work with an employee. You can see if there's any strong points, but also see if there's any area for improvement before continuing on to the next step of the simulation. After doing that, after you complete each task, you can give a quick rate, smiley face, or not so smiley face to describe how you feel about the content, or skip and go on to the next task. This will follow the same progression throughout the remainder of the task until you finish the final one, and then you cross the finish line. When you cross the finish line, we're going to jump over to the dashboard, and this is my demo account, so that's why it's unverified, just a heads up. When you go over to the dashboard, we can always track and start to engage with those unlockable achievements we've earned, but track the progress for any simulations we've signed up for previously. So right here with under this cap is going to show any simulation we've enrolled in. It will show us any tasks we've completed within that simulation, what we have left, and then all of the achievements we've earned and when we actually unlock those particular achievements. As you all can see, for the resume snippet, interview tip, and the certificate, we'll unlock that after completing task 4 of the simulation. For a simulation that we already navigated, we've already completed all the tasks, it's going to look a little bit different. Just to show you what that looks like, it gives you confirmation. Hey, you've crossed the finish line. You're ready to collect your achievements. These are the achievements you've unlocked. And whenever you're ready, you can actually start job prep. So when we click start job prep, it takes us from the progress tab over to the achievements tab. And now this is where we can start engaging with some of those achievements. So whether it's the certificate, as I mentioned, you guys always receive a certificate if you, sorry, I just got to move our faces over a little bit. Once you complete the simulation. So whether you want to go about adding it directly to your LinkedIn profile, creating a post and sharing it with your network, maybe you have an e-portfolio that you're working on and you want to download it, add it to that portfolio. We understand this is a new space for students to navigate through. So we also include this referencing guide that just gives best practices. You've completed a simulation. How can you actually go about adding it as a certificate to your resume, adding it to your LinkedIn? Maybe you want to take it a step further, create a post about your experience, tag the company you completed the simulation for to increase visibility to hiring managers and recruiters. If you consent to share your information with any of these companies and you're actually contacted by a recruiter and hiring manager, how can you start verbalizing your experience and speaking about how it separates you from just a traditional candidate? We also have the skills section. So whether you would like to update your LinkedIn skills section, your resume, you could definitely copy and paste these directly into that. These are going to be reflective of the skills that you've developed or refined navigating through that particular simulation. Interview tips. When you come in contact with the hiring manager, you're interviewing with this employer, they may ask, why do you want to work here? Why are you interested in this particular role? We help you out with a sample talk track that talks about how you have invested time and show that you have high intent for this particular company and this particular position. And then my favorite one, the resume snippet. I know how difficult, in my personal experience, it can be to communicate your experience on your resume when it's time to make updates. So we try to make that as simple as possible. It's already pre-formatted. These bullet points are going to be reflective of the task that you've completed in that simulation. You can copy and paste it directly into your resume. If you would like to make any adjustments, you can copy and paste it into a Word doc, Google Doc, and then adjust it as necessary. So I'm going to scroll up. One thing that I didn't point out is our hiring now section. Got to move our faces to the other side. Okay, perfect. So on the Explore tab, if we go to view all job simulations, when you're scrolling through our course catalog, if you see any banners such as Talent Network open, or if it says hiring now, if you click into that particular company's tile, you will be able to see whatever available opportunities they currently are posting on our site. So currently Fidelity is allowing students to join the Talent Network. You join the Talent Network. This is a year-round opportunity, so this will never be removed from the site. You will start getting exclusive access to job-related information with this particular employer. Fidelity recently had an opportunity that closed, I believe, December 30th. So that was here as well. And if you register for that particular simulation, when you go onto your dashboard, you're actually able to register for those positions that you've seen on that tile, whether it's an application for an internship, full-time, part-time, or joining the talent network as we see right here. One thing to point out with this as well is that these are tracked links. So these companies are actively watching and paying attention to who has completed their simulations and actually applied for these positions through these links that they have shared with us. One last thing that I think would be helpful, or one of two last things that I think would be really helpful just to touch on, is if you're not 100% sure where to begin. I understand we have I'm not sure if I mentioned it, 22 different career fields, over 150 employer partners, and about 297 simulations. So that's a lot to just try to cipher through. You can always start with the take the quiz option. So this is going to be pre-generated with some answers because I've answered this quiz before in the previous meeting. We'll hit start quiz. Describe your current education. What's your major? So maybe we can take this out. Maybe it's business, IT. When are we graduating? Any interests, any careers that we're already interested in? Are we intro? So are we just getting our feet in that water as I mentioned previously? Are we intermediate? Do we have some experience but still looking to expand that knowledge, develop more skills? Or are we already adept at navigating through these settings and we're just looking for some additional assistance to land that next dream job? If you would like to work domestically, internationally, you can always include that as well. Any particular industries you're interested in working in, and then any particular companies. You can select all of them. You can leave it blank. You can skip the question. And then after finishing that final question, it's going to curate a list of simulations based off of your answers that we feel would be a really, really good, will really resonate with your interests. So for this one, we see the client research, we see client services based off how I was answering the questions, some consulting simulations, and then this is just to give you some more insight. You see that hiring now section right there. So if we click into this particular simulation and we register for this simulation, you guys can see what the registration questions will look like right here together. Okay, so how did you hear about this program? Why are you enrolling? Are you not sure what this role involves? Are you looking to learn more, trying to upskill or increase your chances of getting hired? Do you have a good understanding of this company? Do you feel confident about the work you will be doing with this company? Based off of what you currently know, how likely are you to apply? And then that final question that I mentioned earlier, do you consent? You can mark no, you can mark yes, really depending on where you are in that career journey or search. And then once we go, it may take a little bit of time to add in. Oh, and I see that with statistics. I'll jump on that in 1 second. And I'm going to come back to this just to give it a second to add in, but it's going to populate that particular opportunity for me to be able to apply for that opportunity with BNY Mellon. And pertaining to stats, let me pull that up. I'm going to just stop sharing for a second and pull this up so you guys can see this right here. Okay. Can you all still see my screen okay? Okay, perfect. So this is going to be one of the resources that we share after the call. This is just a one pager that gives more insight into what Forage is some frequently asked questions on the back as well. But one thing that I want to call attention to is this case study we did with Global Bank. Let's say there was 100 total applicants. 91 people applied for that position traditionally, so they never heard of Forage. They applied on Global Bank's website, LinkedIn, Indeed, whatever it may have been. 9% of people, so 9 out of the 100, went through a Forage simulation prior to applying. 30% of the 91 people that applied traditionally were offered positions in comparison to 70%. So let's say 5 or 6 of the 9 people that went through a simulation prior to applying for that same role that were offered positions, which feed into larger statistics that we continue to see, such as foragers are 2 times more likely to advance to an interview stage, 4 times more likely to receive an offer. And then my favorite one, because you guys just spent 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many hours of your time learning about this company, learning about this role you're applying for, you're more likely to actually accept the offer once you get it because you have a better understanding and idea of what you're getting yourself into. And I'm going to pause right there. I know that was a lot of information, but we'll be happy to try to answer any questions you guys may have.
Otis, I've gotten just a couple here, and please, feel free to add some more into the chat here. Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
No
This is
problem.
such a great, great platform. Can you share with us, are there any best practices to integrate the completed simulations into a resume and or GitHub portfolio? I know you showed that a little bit on the resume front. Anything on the GitHub portfolio?
With the GitHub, let me double back with the team just to see what's the best way, because I want to say that's been updated since I've last spoken about that. So I will include that in that follow-up email as well, as along with the referencing guide that talks about best practices to adding it to your LinkedIn, adding it to your resume. But I want to just double check so I can give you guys accurate information on the GitHub just to see has that process changed, and I can include that in the follow-up email for you all.
That's perfect. And I'll send that out with the reporting when we get that as well. Thank you, Otis. You had mentioned, as we talked about just now, that you can integrate these into your resume. Does Forage offer resume review?
That's a great question. Not as of yet. We do have some resume. We had a resume Forge masterclass writing that essentially we tried to provide a little bit more insight into best practices on drafting, creating that resume. We do have a blog that's really, really active on best practices with resume, and I can include some of those articles as well in that follow-up email. But as far as formally doing resume reviews, not yet, but that's not to say that won't change in the future.
Excellent. And just a little pitch here, I will say that the Career and Professional Development Office also has resume review through our career advisors. And so check out that website I put in the chat. They're always more than welcome to help you as well. Resume writing, it's not very much fun. All right, we got a question from John. In the software engineering tracks, is there a way to narrow down which companies or sims use certain programming languages and frameworks?
Great question. So currently, yes, but we're working to embed it into the student platform. So Addison, you have that is the skills index to where we have a document that we share with educators that's creating different class pages to where it lists out all of our simulations, the specific skills and that you're going to be using, developing as you navigate through that simulation, the difficulty level. We're working on providing that information more readily, making that more readily available to students. It just hasn't happened as of yet, but that's in the process, and that should be available to you guys on the platform hopefully within the next few weeks.
Excellent, how exciting. New things. All right, from B, I'm in cloud computing. How would you search to find a simulation specifically in this field?
Great question. So that probably would be the best step would be navigating through that career quiz. I think would be the best way, since we haven't updated the skills index within to the platform for the students to just be able to check which skills relate to cloud computing or whatever specific field of study you're interested in or completing. That take quiz, you'll be able to narrow some simulations that are going to be most relevant to cloud computing or whatever your specific field of study is, if that makes sense. Let me know if that doesn't answer your question though, B.
We'll see if B responds, if they do.
Mhm.
All right. From Kyle D, actually, this is a question I had asked Forge as well, so a great one. Is there a plan to, or excuse me, Kyle D, is there a plan to add more job simulations to the Forge website?
100%. We and I see the next question as well about the data analytics. So I'll answer both of those in one go. So yes, definitely in the process of adding more simulations. Can you guys still see my screen? Perfect.
Yes.
So when I've been with Forage for a little bit over a year, I joined the university team in July. When I joined the university team in July, it was probably about 235, 240 simulations. Now it's 297. That's with some simulations coming off the platform as well as new ones coming on. It's not to say every 6 or so months we're going to have 50, 60 new simulations, but more so to give you insight, we're year round working to add new content and develop new simulations for students to bring to the platform to make sure that this is always engaging for you all. Data, as pertaining to data analytics, if you go into the career interest, that's actually one of the sections that we have. So you could probably jump right into here and you can look through some of the data simulations that we have. It looks like we have 8 simulations currently. The next time we all connect, maybe in a few months, that may look a little bit different, and hopefully we have 16. But you definitely can use the course catalog to filter through any specific field of study that we have or any particular companies that you guys are interested in as well.
I think something I would add to that, Otis, when I was chatting with Forage, I think something that I found really fascinating is that employers, it's a pretty big lift for them to create these simulations. And so it's really valuable for them. And so for them to put the time and effort to create these and then for you to complete them, there's definitely value, especially, when you get in that interview process, you can talk about the organizational culture, or maybe they use a specific type of language or project management system, and you can already be aware of that, which can really boost your application.
100%.
Um,
We've come
Kyle D's
across
got another good one. Is there plans to add more career paths like a cybersecurity or cloud computing career path? And Otis, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're all good. Great question, Kyle. So, as Kyle has seen, we do have career paths currently for software engineering and investment banking. This is a tongue twister for me, so bear with me. What a career path is, it's a collection of similar simulations. So, essentially, as opposed to in software engineering completing one simulation from an employer that's a front end engineering, you may have a front end, a back end, a coding, an advanced software engineering simulation to give a more holistic understanding of what that role entails. We are currently working to add more, I believe 3 or 4 new career paths within the next quarter. I'm not sure if I have to double check if cybersecurity or cloud computing would be one of those, but I know we do have, if you come into this course catalog, scroll down to the bottom, we have security, which should include some cybersecurity simulations as well. So although these aren't formally placed into a collection, you definitely are able to come and start completing some of these simulations. And you can see all these will be related to cybersecurity, ranging from introductory, intermediate, and then the longer ones being a little bit more advanced.
Excellent. Otis, have you completed any of the simulations?
Yeah, actually, my first simulation was the Lululemon. I've never bought anything from Lululemon, but I've heard about them a lot. So when I got brought on my first couple of weeks, I was looking through the course catalog and definitely went through the Lululemon and kind of got put my marketing hat on for a little bit. So I had a lot of fun, and definitely am a big advocate of the simulations. And like you mentioned, Addison, companies, employers are really paying attention. This isn't a small task for them to they're for one paying for this. So
Mhm.
that's an incentive right there, and they're putting a lot of resources and time to make sure that these simulations are reflective of a day in the life with that particular company. So you guys coming on, exploring these career paths, exploring life with these companies, they are definitely paying attention to that. And let's say you put Forage on your resume, you apply to this company in their ATS, their applicant tracking system, that actually they're able to flag that and see who's applying from that's completed a Forage simulation for their company or just completed a Forage simulation in general.
That's great. I think something Otis and I were chatting about too prior to this, and I'll see if we have any more questions as we wrap up here. I don't know if any of you have ever been stuck in your career path and not maybe totally sure about what you wanted to do. I think I've been there about 14 different times. And then sometimes you end up in a job and you think, oh, this really isn't what I want to do. What I love about the Forge simulations is you can actually go in there and see what it's like to do some of that work, to really get a sense, do I actually like accounting? Who knew I didn't really like numbers? And so it can give you a little bit of that experience before you're actually really maybe either dedicating yourself to an academic major or whether you're looking for a job.
100%. Low
One of my
risk,
friends,
no pressure.
yes,
You guys are more than able. I was telling Addison about my story. Went to school as a kinesiology, transferred to sociology. I talked to her about it a little bit earlier on the call. Working in ed tech, and had a zigzag roundabout way of getting here. But definitely wish while I was in school, I was just a little bit more aware and on top of some of these resources. Especially this is self-paced, it's free. You guys can come check it out, explore some of these things. You're not going to be bogged down, okay, I have to finish this simulation, I started it. If you start one, life happens, you need to take a day, week, month, year, hopefully not a year, but you need to take an extended break away. You're more than able to do that, and whenever you guys are ready, we're always going to be here, and you guys are going to be able to log into your account and pick up right where you left off.
excellent. We got another question coming in from Kristen. Otis, what is the one of the best success stories you've seen from a student in your time with Forage?
That's a great question. And I'm hoping that I don't butcher this, but we actually just had a forager, which we like to call the people that complete our programs, join one of our all hands or all staff meetings. I want to say right before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. And essentially, he both of his parents are immigrants. I forgot where they navigated from to get to America. He was going to initially school in New York, can't remember the university, was having some trouble figuring out which direction he wanted to go into, was just working, I believe, like at Foot Locker or something like that. Came onto the platform. One of his friends was getting internships around the same time he was working, kind of just at different jobs. We're getting internships at JP Morgan and Citibank and all these different things. He was in a different major, talked to his friend, was trying to figure out exactly how can he be part of that. His friend didn't necessarily have the best way of helping him get to where he is. So he did a Google search, looked up, how can I do this? How can I make this transition? How can I get into this field? Started completing some simulations with Forge. He's still currently a student, but now he was telling us on the call this upcoming internship season, he has offers from JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. And he said when he goes to the interviews, they're actually asking him, like, oh, okay, I seen you did a Forge simulation. If they have a program with us, they're asking him about his experience. If they haven't heard of Forge before, they're asking him, okay, what that is, what is Forge? And then he's able to talk about his experience and really show them that he has initiative and he's not just, okay, this is something available to me that I have to do. This is something that nobody's making me do. I just want to learn more about you guys. I want to work for you guys. I want to be connected with you all. And definitely his story was the one that resonated thus far really well with me.
That's great. It's incredible. We've got another question from Dennis. I'm interested in data engineering, but there's nothing related on the website. Any recommendations?
Data engineering. Let me think. Off the top of my head, I'll have to check through the skills index. If you can drop in the chat 2 or 3 skills that are really related within data engineering, I'll be able to pop those in that skills index, and within the follow-up email, I can send over simulations that are most relevant, if that makes sense.
Kyle D might be another one of our
Glad to hear it,
success
Kyle.
stories. That's great. That's
Yes,
really
yes.
awesome. Excellent. Perfect. Any other questions? All right. Well, Otis, it has been absolutely wonderful having you with us. Thank you so much for all of the information that you shared. Thank you all for joining us. We so appreciate that. Um, are there any, we got one more question coming in from John. Can you send over which SEMs use C pound and their related frameworks?
Okay. So I could take a look at the skills index. And if you can do me a favor, Addison, if you can share this recording with me as
Yes.
well, just so, or if there's a way I can copy that in the chat, I'll figure it out. But I'll take a look at that, John, and I'll be able to send that over too. I'm just trying to find your comment again. Okay, perfect. So y'all can do that. And I'll
Excellent.
send that over in that follow-up email that I send over to you, Addison.
Perfect. Yes, and as we shared, I will send out that recording here within the next 24 hours. We'll have that additional information from Otis as well as a resource from Forage. Please go check out Forage. We also, just for those that are looking to gain more experience and skills, I'll be presenting more about experiential learning next Thursday. All sorts of different ways that you can gain experience and skills, and you can go to Handshake to check out how to register for that. But thank you all so much. Really appreciate you joining us and hope that you have a wonderful Wednesday. Take
Have
care.
a good one, everybody.
Thank you.